Hello! In today's lesson, we're going to be learning how to fingerpick a beautiful chord progression inspired by John Denver's Annie's Song. This was actually the winner of this month's lesson on my Patreon page, and I think it won because of its beautiful guitar work. So in this lesson, we're going to be learning not only how to fingerstyle pick a really beautiful progression, but we're going to be learning how we can use descending and ascending chords to add this beautiful, rich harmony to other pieces of music. Let's go ahead and dive in, though, to learn how to play it. It's going to look something like this. If you'd like to download this tab, check out my Patreon page, linked right here and in the description. And to start, this is compatible with both high and low G ukulele. So we're not going to use the G string at all, so both styles of tunings work great. We're going to be using something called 3-finger picking. If you don't know how to 3-finger pick, I've got a video on it that you can check out. But the gist of it, if I'm going to zoom in super close here, is we're going to take our thumb, place it on our C string, index here on the E, middle finger here on the A. And when we do this, we want to make sure that our index and middle fingers are more perpendicular to the strings, while our thumb is more of a 45-degree angle. Going back to the first camera angle here for the tab again, and that's going to look like this. And let's go ahead and learn how to play this. So we're going to start with an F chord. Take your index finger and put it across the 5th fret on the C, E, and A. Take your pinky, place it on the 8th fret of the A string. We're going to use our thumb and index to pluck our C and A together. Then we're going to play the middle finger on the A string, and then our index on the E, and then middle on the A again. And the next measure is going to be adding the 6th fret here with the middle finger and playing those two, and then the A, and then the E, and then the A again. And then the next measure here on 3 is the same thing as 1. And measure 4 is almost the same as measure 2. We're going to go back to this little F sus4, taking the middle finger, adding it here on the 6th fret of the E string. We're going to pluck our C, E, and A together. Then we're going to play the 7 with our ring finger here on the A string. And then we're going to take this index finger and we're going to play it here on the 5th fret of the A string. And it's very important to use the 5th fret here on the A string, because what happens after this is this index finger is going to slide up to fret 8 on the A string. And then we're going to add our middle fingers on 10 of the C and our ring finger on 10 of the E. It helps to angle these fingers towards your shoulder to get a good connection here. We're going to play our C string, and then A, E, and A. So this whole little phrase, the first 5 measures, looks and sounds something like this. It's really important with this that we use that index finger on that 5 to slide it up to the 8 so that you can hear and see how that all goes through. Now, what's cool is the finger picking pattern in the song is going to be pretty consistent. We're going to be doing a lot of C, A, E, A for bars. And you can really hear that as we go into the next set of measures, measures 6, 7, 8, and 9. And they should sound something like this when you play them together. Now to play these, we're going to start with this C chord up here, index finger on the 7th fret of the C string, ring finger here on the 8th fret of the E string, middle finger here on the 7th fret of the A string, and we're going to play our C, A, E, and A. From here, it then goes down to a D minor chord. We're going to take this index finger and slide it down to 5, and then bar across the 3 strings of the C, E, and A. Play the C, A, E, and A. So it goes. The next bar here, we're going to be playing this B flat. We're going to add our middle finger here on the 6th fret of the E string, leaving the index where it is, pluck the 3 strings. Then we're going to play 7 on the A with the ring. And then this is really important. We're going to play the index finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Take the bar off and play just that one. And the reason for this is because measure 9, we're going to be moving to this F chord. So that index finger slides down to 3 on the A string from the 5. And then we add the middle finger here on 5 of the C and our ring finger here on 5 of the E. Do our same picking pattern. C, A, E, C. Or excuse me, C, A, E, A. I'm mixing up the names because this note right here is a C note. But it's the same picking pattern. C, A, E, A. And so those 4 bars together should look something like this. Notice how I try to slide into positions when I can. These chords are tricky when you're first learning them. But let's go ahead and go on to the next 4 bars here. So measures 10, 11, 12, and 13. It should sound something like this. So to play this, well, let's look at where we just were. We were just at this 5, 5, 3 chord, right? So now what we want to do is we want to just take this middle finger and move it down 1 fret to the 4th fret of the C string, leaving the other 2 fingers where they are. So it kind of straightens out, right? It was tilted towards the shoulder. Now we're just more straight up and down with the fingers, 4, 5, and 3. We're going to pluck the C string, A, E, A. Same little picking pattern we've been doing. Then we're going to take this middle finger, slide it down to 2, flip-flop these fingers. So the index goes to the 1st fret on the E string, and the ring finger comes here to the 3rd fret of the A string. And we're going to pluck the C, A, E, A. Then the next bar here, we're going to take this middle finger off, leave the other 2 fingers where they are, pluck our C, E, and A, play 5 on the A string with the pinky, back down to 3 with the ring. And then going on to the 13th measure, this index finger is going to collapse to bar across the 1st fret on the E and the A strings. And then my middle finger is going to come over and play the 2nd fret on the C string. Make sure you hug that fret wire with the index finger to get a good tone. Then we're going to play the same picking pattern with this 2, 1, 1. It's going to be C, A, E, A. So those 4 measures look and sound something like this. Going on to the next 4 measures, they're going to sound something like this. So to play this now, we're going to be playing on measure 14. We just came from this B flat, right? So this middle finger slides up to the 4th fret on the C string. Ring finger goes to the 5th fret on the E string. And the index finger is here on the 3rd fret. But here's the kicker, the trick. Is this B flat chord that we just played before on measure 13, we can just hold and move it up 2 frets. And then we add this ring finger on the 5th fret of the E string. So we're still partial barring here. We don't have to. We could just go to the A string, but less is better, right? Less movement makes it easier to play. So I'm going to play that C, A, E, A. And then as I go to the next chord here on measure 15, I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide it up 2 frets again. And then these fingers flip-flop. The ring finger goes to the 7th fret of the C string, and the middle finger goes to the 6th fret of the E string. And I'm going to play my C, A, E, A. So I'm at 7, 6, 5 for my G minor chord, with that index just kind of staying in a little bit of a bar. As I go on the next measure, I'm going to take this middle finger, and I'm going to keep it where it is. Take this ring finger off. I'm going to take this index and slide the bar up so it's on the C, E, and A. So I'm at 5, 6, 5 for this B flat chord. Strum through those 3 strings, or pluck them. C, E, and A, and then play the 7 on the A with the ring, and then the 8 on the A with the pinky. Then we're going to go to the C chord. We're going to play open on the C string, slide the index all the way down to 3 on the A, play that, E, A, right? So it goes. So those bars should sound something like this as you play them through. Again, leaving the index finger barred from before, from the B flat, looks like this. Going on to the next group of bars, we're going to see we got measures 18 through 22, and those should sound something like this if I play them through. Which should start looking pretty familiar because we're getting into some repetition here. We're going to start though by, we just played the C with the 3rd fret on the A, now we're going to slide up to 5 on the A. We're going to play open on the C, 5, open E, and 5, same picking pattern, C, A, E, or excuse me, C, A, E, A. I keep wanting to say the note names. But then we go on to measure 19 here. We're going to play this C7 by taking our middle finger, adding it on the 6th fret of the E string, and our ring finger here on the 7th fret of the A string. Strum through those 3 strings. And then we're going to play 8 on the A with the pinky, play it again, 7 on the A, taking the pinky off, ring finger there, and then the 5 on the A with the index. All right, so that was measure 20. And at this point, we actually start over. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the song, the very beginning, we went like this. And then we went to this B flat chord. It's the same deal here. We go 8, 7, 5. That 5 with the index slides up to fret 8 so that we can then play the rest of the chord. 10 on the C, 10 on the E. So it's that 10, 10, 8. That index finger sliding up is our common thing to move to this high B flat chord. We'll play the C string, A, E, A. And then the last chord here is familiar. It's the same as measure 6. But last time we didn't really get to talk about the transition here as much. So when we look at it, this ring finger stays on this string and slides down to 8. And then these two fingers flip-flop to 7 on the C with the index and 7 on the A with the middle. And we're going to play our C, A, E, A. So it goes. See that ring finger sliding down. So these measures, 18 through 22, should sound something like this. And then we go on from here into measure 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. This should all look very familiar. It looks and sounds like this. And that's because this is all the same stuff that we've already played. It's exactly the same. In fact, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 are exactly the same as 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. They're identical, no change whatsoever. So as you're working on these, what I want you to prioritize this time is just common fingers between them. So when we look at the first chord, that D minor, it's the bar, right? The next chord, the B flat, it's going to add that middle finger, keeping the bar, and then it's going to move down to the 5 with the index. And then when we go to this next chord, the F on 25, we slide that index down to 3, right? Add the 2 5s here. When we go to the F/E, we just move that middle finger down. And then when we go to the F/D, we slide that middle finger down to 2 on the C, flip-flop the fingers so the index goes to 1 on the E, and the ring there on 3 of the A. I understand this can be very confusing, but what we're looking for is what finger can slide and stay in contact with the strings as we move through it, because all of these chords will have something that stays on to make it a little bit easier. From here we go on to measure 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, which should sound like this. This is almost identical to what we played earlier. 28 is going to be exactly the same as what we played on 12. And 29 is that B flat, the same as measure 13. So the double bar, or the index bar on the first fret with the middle finger coming up to 2 on the C. And then when I move up to this A minor chord, I'm going to slide it up, add the ring finger here on 5. When I move the G minor, I'm going to slide that index up again, see common movements between them. I'm going to add the 6 and the 7 on the E and the A. So all of that's exactly the same. 28, 29, 30, 31 are exactly the same as 12, 13, 14, 15. But then it changes a little bit, because here at measure 32, we're going to play our C7 way up high. This middle finger stays here on the 6th fret of the E string. And then we're going to bring our ring finger to the 7th fret of the A. Pluck the C, E, and A together. 8 on the A with the pinky. Slide the pinky up to 10 on the A, and that finishes this little passage. Make sure that you get your pinky there on 10 of the A for what comes next, but it sounds like this. And as we go on to the last bar here, well, kind of nice, because what we're going to do is we're going to play the intro again, almost exactly the same. Almost, not quite, but we're going to go down to that F chord. So the pinky was here at 10, right? We're going to slide it back down to 8 on the A string. We're going to add our indexed bar across the C, E, and A strings here. We're going to pluck our C and E together, then A, E, A. Add the 6. So this is exactly the same as measures 1 and 2, and it just repeats. So it plays a total of 4 times. So it sounds like this. And after we've played those 4 bars, we go on to the very last bar of the song, which is going to take this middle finger off and play just the C, E, and A together to end the beautiful sound. So 33 to the end should sound like this. Pretty great, right? So there you have it. There's the full chord progression going through this. And that's a wonderful thing to practice to get comfortable with some good fingerstyle stuff. But I want to take a moment to talk about the why here. These aren't your normal ways of playing these chords, and that's what makes this song so special. Let's go ahead and take a look again at an earlier part of the song, and let's look at how this descending line can kind of all work. So we're gonna tweak the tab a little bit here, but we're going to start by looking at measure 21, and we're gonna see a lot of movement here. So I'm gonna play 21, sounds like this, and then I'm gonna play 22, and then I'm gonna play 23. What's interesting about this? Well, the chords are B flat, C, and D minor. But you hear, I'm not playing my B flat here, my C here, my D minor here, because I'm trying to create movement with this arrangement. I'm trying to allow it to have a direction. By playing my B flat way up the fretboard, finding this much higher inversion of the chord, I now have room to go down. And when I go to the C chord, instead of going to an even higher version of C, for instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down to my C chord that's just below that. And I want to continue to make that movement downward. So then I'm going to go to a D minor just below that. This downward movement is kind of cool and a little bit counterintuitive because I'm going from a B flat to a C to a D minor. So you'd think they want to go up, right? Well, not with this song and with this sound. We're wanting to descend as we go until we get all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to come back up. And so when you play 21, 22, and 23, that's why we're using these voicings. And our C string's acting as this nice little bass note to create this beautiful transition. Then when we go on to 24, we're kind of in the same spot. So it's almost like a little bit of a pause, right? But then from here, we go on. To this beautiful descending line now where it's going from this F to this F/E to this F/D to this F/C. So what does that mean? Well, the slash, whatever's on the right side of the slash is just telling you what to play in the bass. In this case, because we're not using a high or low G tuning, we're just playing our C, E, and A strings. Our C string is our bass note. So I'm playing an F, which actually has an F in the bass. Then I'm playing an F with an E in the bass. Then I'm playing an F with a D in the bass. Then I'm playing an F with the C in the bass. And why is this important? Well, it creates that downward movement. That's just absolutely lovely for this piece of music. And so now when we start over, you can hear that we started up, we moved down, we kind of paused for a moment, then we kept moving down. This makes it sound so iconic and so rich. But we don't stop there, because now when we play the next B flat after this, well, we just moved down. We can't go any lower than the open C, right? So I'm not going to jump back up to this B flat. I want to move back up towards it. So my B flat I'm going to play is the one above this, which is going to be here. Now the reason it's above this, even though this note goes down, the bass note goes up. And then the next chord, the A minor, see how the bass note moved up again? And then the next chord, the G minor, see how the bass note moved up yet again? That creates this nice ascending pattern. And then it all breaks loose to finish the song. So that descending pattern becomes an ascending pattern to then finish. I'm going to bring the camera back up. So that's a little bit of theory behind it. It's just trying to invert the chords, play different versions of them. You can find them in any chord book or whatever else, just to create direction. So whenever you're playing a chord progression, if it sounds a little stale and boring because you're just playing the same chords in the same boring place down here, maybe try to move them up or down to create a different type of just style and vibe for whatever it is you're playing. Again, I think this is why this tune won the lesson vote this month, is because everybody loves the guitar work that John Denver does when he plays Annie's song. So taking these same chords and applying the same concept of creating descending and ascending patterns, I think makes for a really effective exercise, both as a fun fingerstyle tune to play with this beautiful progression, but also as a really great exercise in understanding how chord progressions can sound different just by virtue of ascending or descending with them. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Every month I do a different vote on my Patreon page for a lesson. This happened to win November 2023's vote. If you'd like to help decide what next month's tutorial is, please consider joining my Patreon. You can also find tab downloads for all the different lessons and things there, as well as some exclusive course access. I've done a chord melody course and a strumming course on there that I'm so proud of, that I think you'll love on your ukulele journey. So check it out. If you are a patron, thank you so much for your support. I'm so appreciative of the community there and everything. It's unreal to be able to do this for a living and have that incredible resource for teaching. So as always, let me know if you have questions. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time for the next tutorial here on this YouTube channel. Subscribe, sign up for notifications. I'll talk to you soon.